Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, this is Austin here, bringing you guys a PvP matchup here on Ohana between the red Protoss player spawning at the bottom right. It is from Team Alternate, the German player Socke, and at the top left is going to be our blue Protoss player on Team LGIM. It is the Korean First. So if you guys are wondering, Socke was the Protoss player in the last match I casted, which was a PvT between himself and another LGIM member, Yoda. Why so much Socke? Why so little TVZs? Well, look, this is from the IEM Katowice tournament. Again, I've said this each video I've casted a match from that tournament. I cannot pronounce that city name, so please do not fault me. There just seems to be a very small number of TVZs in that tournament, if at all. This is from the best of 3 semi-final match, if I'm not mistaken, between these two players. It is a PvP, as I did explain right at the beginning. So Socke just happens to pop up in a couple replays. I know that Mana was in a lot of my more recent ones, so I've been trying to mix it up, but hopefully in upcoming tournaments we'll see some more exciting and diversified matches. Just real quick, I'm busy so that I am not disturbed by anybody here, and it seems as though most players are getting their gateways almost exactly in sync. You see that a lot of times in mirror matchups. Players are just going to pretty much get a lot of text structures for the first couple of minutes of the game, almost exactly on par with one another, unless one of them is cheesing. I've yet to see PvP yet in the GSL. I did mention in the last game that I bought a pass for this season. I'm going to be watching it very carefully, trying to improve my skills as a player and as a caster. But there are so few Protosses in this season so far. 5 were in the round of 32. No, I don't think there were 2 of them in the same group at all. And only 3 among them advanced. Those are Parting, Squirtle, and I do not remember the third player to advance. MC was the third. I don't know if Squirtle did, but I know that MC and Parting did for certain. Both players getting their cybernetics scores also on time. It seems Socke is going to be getting a Zealot, and First showing no signs of such a unit on the way. I think he'll get one quite soon, though. He's got this gateway selected with his 210 APM in comparison to Socke's 151. I believe our German player did lose the last game. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that. I do not remember. It's been something like 5-6 days since I last casted. I'm a pretty busy guy, so I try to commentate when I can. But I'll hopefully be bringing you more content in upcoming weeks. I think I'll just try to fall into a good routine with regard to when I cast exactly. Getting a schedule together always does help. Socke also going to outclass his opponent in terms of warp gate research timing. That's only by about 10 seconds, though. He's not chronoing it, and I believe First isn't either. Our blue Protoss is going for a sentry. Socke's got a Zealot here just to make sure that there's no proxy action. I know that he got a pylon in the last game against Yoda. I really cannot remember who won that, so do not take my last statement too seriously. Socke might have won that game, I'm not sure. But First is now going to have to deal with 2 stalkers that are on the way from his German opponent. He does have a sentry and is getting another. Throwing down a second gate. He's scouted pretty much everything that his opponent has to offer here. He sees the entire main base. And what has Socke seen? Nothing at all. He really needs to get some scouting going. He's going to have a Zealot here just to hang in this brush and be nicely camouflaged. I don't know if he's going to look to place down a proxy pylon. Possibly so. He does have this probe. You always see Protoss players in PvP early game get this Stalker and Zealot, push out a little bit and establish their proxy. It looks like First is playing a lot more on the defensive side. He's hoping to hold out in time to get his robo facility out and then turn the tide using Immortals. Socke does not know exactly what he's up against. We'll have to check his vision. He does not know that there are sentries there. But there's First with a clutch force field, cutting the army in half. He's going to get the 2 Zealots trapped on the high ground, and we'll be able to kite one of them indefinitely and kill it. Going to get the second one here with very nice micro. This one sentry is going to die, but he's able to force field yet again. This pylon should be shut down. Does First have vision of it? Yes. I don't know why his units are being glitchy, but he loses this one Stalker outside of the force field. That was weird, guys, and that may cost First the game. He will get his robo facility and is going to probably chrono out an Immortal. He will do so. Going to get 2 Stalkers at once now and Warp Gate, so I think he should be good. Since he's able to force field again with the Sentry, but wow, that was glitchy. His Stalker and Sentry were just moving about this force field, and then the Stalker somehow ended up on the other side of it without being able to attack this pylon. So although it may not lose him the game, just a little bit of an annoying positional error there from First. He just does not want to move his units in that direction. I don't even know where he issued a command to. He might have moved it to the other side of the force field, and then the Stalker ended up glitching there, but I'm sure he tried to move back after he realized his mistake. Both players getting an observer. I do not think Socke has an immortal on the field, and I don't think he is building one. First does have one, however. Both players going to expand, so we could be seeing some macro PvP. You might wonder, what's macro PvP? I never see it. It's just Mass Colossus. We do now see Socke shutting down First expansion, at least for now. He's keeping the heat on. Won't be able to deal with this immortal, but he has the kind of unit count right now to just bottle his opponent up. First knows exactly what he's up against, so he is ready to move in here and clean this out. Let's see what he can do. Gonna force field once there, and his Stalkers, his sentries both taking heavy fire from his opponent's Stalkers. He needs to be careful here with this immortal, does not want to lose it. First is getting a Robo Bay on the back of this, so he'll have a faster Colossus tech, but Socke will have a much faster natural expansion. It looks like this immortal may not die. Will it die to the tickle beams of the sentry? I do not believe so. Very nice micro there from First. Oh, the Stalkers just come in and just say, "You thought you had that? Yeah, right, good one," and they just poke him down. So anticlimactic there. I thought the immortal was going to escape with his life. Two Stalkers just ran up there, popped a couple shots off, and escaped largely unscathed. So now First is probably going to try to go for some sort of a one-base Colossus play. I don't know if he's going to expand or not. Don't forget, guys, it takes a long time for a natural to kick in because you have to get a definite degree of saturation first. If you don't, then it's rendered pretty much useless. You need to really saturate your mineral line before it makes any sort of a difference. You don't even have an advantage until you have a significant harvester lead, which Socke does not have. He's down by 3 harvesters. I don't know how many of his has been killed. 2 by First, but he's just able to run a Zealot around in his opponent's mineral line. Always a pain if you're a Protoss player against another Protoss. If they could just run a couple Zealots into your base without your knowing and just deal a ton of damage, even though Socke is a very map-aware player. I'm sure everyone has their slip-ups, and not everyone's able to deal with proxy pylons so well placed as Firsts. So Socke is going to try to chase out these 2 Zealots here. They get a nice choke, though, so they're going to be able to finish off one of Socke's, and possibly another. This is going to be an epic duel. The immortal turns the tide, though, and will finish off that Zealot there. So First is moving out. He has no Colossi on the field yet, though, and he does have his Robo Bay up, so this is just sitting here doing nothing. Now he finally does have a Colossus out. I didn't see in the production tab, so I was wondering what the hang he was doing because he had the infrastructure but did not build the units. I don't know who's going to take this one. It looks like Alfrix is just getting tired of this standard PvP matchup because he has left the game. Now, Socke going to grab this watchtower, and both players going to be teetering on the edge of an engage, it so seems. 29 to 28 here for Socke, and he's not really adding on any more harvesters. He doesn't have additional gas, so, I mean, the economical advantage is just not there for him right now. He's going to have to play on the defensive and secure this expansion, and if he's able to do so, he should be able to win the game. But First has a powerful push on the way here with this Colossus, and he does not seem to be reinforcing very much. I think he expects to win or lose the game outright from this push here. Gonna warp in a few more reinforcements units, I do believe, before making his final push out. How many gates does he have back at home? He has 4, plus the Robo, so he's really been using his Chronos on those gates, and putting a lot of strain on his one base economy. Now here comes First with the push out. Force field's going to be pretty much useless against this push because of the presence of the Colossus. There are 3 immortals here. It's all about engagement position. Very nice force fields there from First, going to allow him to pick off a lot of the Zealots with his Colossus, which has excellent damage against light units. Does it even have bonus damage? No, but I just feel it's a force against light units, and it looks like First is just going to power through Socke's force. He's had this amazing concave all throughout. There are still 2 immortals left. One of them going to get astonishingly low on health here, still alive, and it seems as though Socke might marginally be able to hold this one off. The Colossus making such a huge difference right now. No reinforcements for First. The production tab completely empty, except for 1 Zealot for Socke. This is extremely close, guys. This 1 immortal is very low on health. There's First warping in some essential reinforcements, 2 Stalkers and 2 Zealots. This Colossus is very audacious, and it's going to die. That is a massive victory there for Socke, able to pick that off. First should have been far more careful, but both these immortals are so very low on health, and I don't think Socke is going to be able to get that third one out in time. It won't be able to make too much of a difference. Here is First trying to supply block his opponent, but he won't be able to do too much with that. He's warping in 4 more Stalkers. He just has to target down the Immortals because they are very low on health. One of them is going to die, and he's probably going to be able to get this second one as well. It is extremely low, 33 health. He has so many Stalkers. That is First, but needs to eliminate his opponent's Immortals here. The stronger, healthier one kept at the front. Here's 3 Zealots being warped in from First. If he can even pick off the expansion to pull out, that would justify this push. There's a good force field out of Socke, but then First counters it right away, trapping his opponent inside of his base. This Stalker is probably going to the Sentry, sorry, was almost going to tickle down the Immortal. There's the Zealot's going to finish the other one off. So this low health one will finally get tickled down. No, not even. How low is Sentry's damage? This friggin' Immortal will not get tickled down. He's one of those people that just are not ticklish at all. He just refuses to die. Sitting at 2 health right now with 3 kills. The invincible Immortal, truly living up to his name. It looks like Socke isn't quite immortal himself, as First should be able to take this game. He's just came through in the clutch, did not get intimidated by the fact that his opponent had another expansion. I mean, this is not over, don't forget, because there is going to be another Immortal out here for Socke, and First getting force fielded. This poor Stalker does not know what to do. He's trapped between 2 force fields. He's between a rock and a hard place. Actually, just a rock and a force field, or maybe just 2 force fields and a couple of rocks scattered in between. It looks like this one Immortal is not going to die. So close, but First will be able to get more reinforcements, and he still has these 3 Zealots alive. Socke overextending himself a bit, and he is punished for it with that nice force field. One of these Immortals is possibly going to die. I think the 2 health one finally did die, by the way. These 2 Immortals completely trapped outside of their base, and I do not think they will live very much longer. Finally, one of them getting tickled down. Sentries are just so low in terms of damage output. Zealots are very strong against Immortals, though, just because they're basic units, and Immortals are more for the Roach, Marauder, and Stalker. So it seems as though this Immortal is going to die, and the one after it as well. Socke's population is just getting lower and lower. First, so persistent with this assault. I don't know how he managed it, because a lot of times I was ready to call it for his opponent, and I'm calling it for him now, but you never know. Socke could pull off something insane. But it was just First's ability to force field when he needed to, and Socke just did not get critical force fields that cut his opponent's army in half and trapped half of it in his base. So I think our Korean Protoss player is going to emerge victorious, and Socke agrees, calling the GG. Well played, guys. I hope this was a GG well casted. I will see you in my next game as soon as every observer leaves. See you then.